Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Balqis Zaafira, and in this opportunity, I'm going to review an employment contract between Suzio Realty Incorporated and Mr. Rahul Tumati. So without any further ado, let's get started. So this is the overview of this contract. As what I've mentioned in advance, this is an employment contract that involves Suzio Realty Incorporated as the employer or the company and Mr. Rahul Tumati as the employee. Based on this contract, Mr. Tumati is hired as a Chief Financial Officer, while the contract will be effective as of March 16, 2016. For a better understanding and the full context of this contract, you can access the contract link that has been provided in the slides or in the description box below. Okay, now we move to the first section, which is the employment. It explains about the position that Mr. Tumati is hired on, which is the Chief Financial Officer, and the working time, which Mr. Tumati is expected to work full-time exclusively for the company. The next section is term. It explains the contract's time period, which will last for 2 years. And then, here we got the employee's duties. So it explains the responsibility Mr. Tumati has to carry on in his position as a CFO. So the sections helps to ensure that both the employee and the employer understand what is expected, because clearly defining expectation will help prevent misunderstandings later. The next section is compensation. So the compensation consists of 7 elements, which are salary. So Mr. Tumati will earn an annual base salary of $180,000, which will be paid twice a month. The next element is signing bonus. So Mr. Tumati will receive this bonus if he fills a certain report on time. The next element is discretionary bonus. So, like its name, Mr. Tumati will receive an annual bonus that will be paid in the ending of the fiscal year if the board directors decide so. So, basically, Mr. Tumati is not guaranteed to earn these bonus. He will earn them if he fulfill a certain criteria that I've mentioned before. The next element is restricted stock grants. So basically, Mr. Tumati will get 50,000 company shares, and these shares will become fully owned a little at a time every 3 months for 1 year. This starts on April 13, 2016, and Mr. Tumati must still be working for the company to get them. On the second grant, the employee gets another 50,000 shares in the same way starting April 13, 2017. The next 3 elements are employee benefits such as retirement plans, insurance, and so on. And then expenses is like the reimbursement for all reasonable business expenses. And the last element would be PTO or paid time off. So it's with a maximum of 14 days saved at a time. What we can conclude is that the salary section clearly defines the employee's right regarding his compensation and benefits as remuneration for his services. The next section is termination. So this section outlines based on what events this agreement can be terminated and the right procedure to do so. So based on this contract, termination will be conducted because of some events. So the first events is like death and disability. So which in such termination, the company still have to pay Mr. Tumati's base salary through the death date or the date when the company decides that the disability has occurred. The second event is termination by the company for cause. So company can terminate Mr. Tumati based on the cause that has been mentioned in the contract, while any additional rights or benefits related to other forms of compensation will be determined based on the specific terms of those compensation plans or programs. The next event is termination other than for cause. For this kind of termination, Mr. Tumati is entitled to receive a lump sum based on the remaining base salary for the contract term, any unpaid signing bonus, compensation for unused vacation days, and an immediate transfer of all vested shares. And if Mr. Tumati chooses to resign from the company for good reason, which what counts as a good reason is defined in the contract, he is not entitled of any compensation except his vested stock or restricted shares. The next section is confidentiality and company's privacy. So, this section outlines what information is considered confidential and Mr. Tumati's responsibilities in safeguarding it. This section also ensures that while working for the company and for 3 years after leaving, Mr. Tumati won't harm the company's business or utilize their confidential information for his own goods. The next sections are successors and notices. So successor sections allows a flexibility for the company to assign the agreement to another party in case of changes like mergers, acquisition, or restructuring. The notices section provides a clear framework for how official communication under this agreement should be delivered, ensuring that important communications are effectively sent and received. The next sections are prior agreements, modifications, and counterparts. The prior agreements and modifications section clarify that the current agreement is the only binding agreement and requires written consent for any changes, providing clarity and eliminating confusions about prior arrangements. The counterpart section adds flexibility by allowing the arrangement to be signed in multiple copies, with each treated as an original, which is practical for remote signings. The next section is the legal aspects. So the legal aspects in this agreement covers the choice of law, arbitration, and legal advices. The sections outline the legal basis of the agreement and how legal action may be taken in specific situations. Together, the sections promote fairness and efficiency while reducing potential legal conflicts. The next sections are survival and severability. So, the survival section ensures that the critical provisions of the agreement, such as sections 6 until 7 regarding confidentiality and sections 12 to 14 regarding legal aspect, will remain valid and enforceable even after the contract ends or the employee leaves the company. On the other hand, the severability section ensures that the entire contract doesn't become invalid just because one part is unenforceable. It allows the contract to adapt to legal challenges without needing to be rewritten entirely. The last section is the execution section. This section provides space for both parties to sign the agreement, stating that both parties agree to fulfill the legal obligations outlined in the contract and establish a contractual relationship between them. So, that was my review on this contract. We can conclude that this contract clearly and comprehensively covers both parties' right and obligation, ensuring that the interests of all parties are protected under the law and providing a solid law basis for a fair and mutually contractual relationship throughout the term of the agreement. So that's all from me. Thanks for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.